Okay, we got black. E4, good. We're getting a game with king pawn. Let's get a game with king pawn. Please play the Roy Lopez. All right, no Roy Lopez. We're getting a D3 Italian. I'm not ready to reveal what my D3 Italian is all about. Yeah, I'm not revealing it yet. I've something very frisky against the D3 Italian. I got something super frisky against the D3 Italian. It's the type of move that's what is he doing? What is he doing? So that's actually very interesting. On the one hand, I've seen positions where this actually works, but it only works if we've already played h6 and they could play g5 to try to undermine our position. I just don't think this does anything. I feel like we should be trying to open the center as quickly as possible. I really like knight a5 here. The idea is if he takes, we take, and then we're just opening up the board. I'm getting rid of this good bishop. Yeah, I'm going to play knight a5. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to trust the heart of the cards, as the great Yugi Moto once said. Yeah, I want to get rid of this bishop. If we get rid of this bishop, he doesn't have any attack to speak of. He could play g5, knight h5, knight takes. I'll just play g6 to secure my knight. I don't think I have anything to worry about there. Bro has to try g5 here. Because otherwise I'm just going to play d5 and just completely bum rush the position. I'm thinking about it now, actually. Maybe I could have played d5 takes and then bishop takes g4. That would have also been a strong pin. But, you know, he's always playing rook g1 here. It's tricky. Anyway, g5 will play knight h5. Yeah, we do not want to take just yet, right? If we take, he's going to take here. We have two pieces hanging. That would not be fun. It would be time to go. Dude, I'm starving. I'm about to devour a steak lunch. Delicious steak lunch in Argentina. Let's play g6 here. Just keep the knight secured. I guess he should take here. Yeah, he should definitely take there. I probably should have thrown this in first. He should take here because then he's going to have two pawns and a rook for two pieces. Even then, I think I should be okay. But it's just going to be a complete mess at that point. Yeah, bro should take. I'll take back. He takes. I take. Knight is going to be really silly there. Yeah, I might be worse there. I don't know what he's thinking about, man. You have to play this. You have to go for it. Like, the good news about that position that I just mentioned there, if he does sacrifice through here, or if he does just trade, it's not even a sacrifice. If he does take there, is that, you know, two minor pieces against rook and two pawns, you always have practical chances in that type of position. It's really hard for the rook and two pawns to manage that type of advantage. I mean, we're just waiting here, pal, man. It's time to go. I got to get things moving. Steakman is waiting for me. Steakman is cooking up a delicious fillet. I gotta go. I gotta go to the steakhouse. Yeah, dude, my stay in Argentina, it's like twice as enjoyable now. Now that I discovered the steak guy, it's like 3 times as enjoyable as it was before. I was already enjoying Palermo. Palermo's a beautiful neighborhood. But now that I know that I can walk into these restaurants, I just didn't realize that these restaurants were serving lunch. But yeah, they serve a delicious steak lunch, and it's only like $10. It's an amazing deal. You get bread, steak, normally a salad, also some coffee. If you want to get a dessert, you have to pay like $1 extra. It's delicious. It's delicious and delectable. All right, I want to play b5 here, man. I want to go for all the glory. Yeah, let's open we should be opening the diagonals. Wait, b5, knight e3, b4. I'm letting his knight in here. Let's first cover it. Let's play c6 first, but I am going to play d5. I think I'm doing very well here in this position. I think he missed his chance to meet the mare twice by taking there earlier in the game. Dude, I'm starving, man. I'm so hungry, man. Could this guy please hurry up? There. All right, I could definitely play d5 here. Just play d5 and open the board up. Should we play rook e8? What is the plan here? We could even play f5. I don't want to open the g file for him, though. I'm going to play b5. I want to break on d4, but I don't want to sack a pawn. I'm going to play b4, push the knight back, and then play d5. The nice thing about this type of position here is that because he's pushed these pawns too far, his king can never hide safely on the king side, which means all I need to do is focus on undermining the queen side. If I undermine the queen side, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's play a5 here. I'm going to play rook b8 and b4 as soon as possible. Queen e2. Yeah, he has nowhere to hide. Bro has literally nowhere to hide. I hope bro knows that. I guess he has to try to castle queenside at some point, but that's not gonna be any fun. No one wants to castle kingside in this type of position. It looks like it's actually going to be the safest area for him though, because I'm literally opening files on this side of the board. I think rook e8 was rushed. The stake hunger is getting to me. What is that? Come on, man. What is that move about? Okay, I guess he's gonna put his knight on h6. I don't even see what that really does. I could also even take. I guess technically my king is getting weakened. He still is not really attacking me with any pieces though, so even that wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, let's just play bishop f8 here. If he checks, I'll just take. I don't think that's the biggest deal to have to give away the bishop, because the rest of his position is just imploding. I love how good this knight is. Look at this. With this knight here, he just can never push this pawn. Knight h6 check, I'm realizing I could also just play king g7. It looks ugly. It looks dubious, but he doesn't have any way to follow it up. If he plays queen f3, I could just play queen e7. I should honestly be a little careful about making that type of move, because if his bishop ever gets here, I would be in trouble. It would probably be time to go. All right, dude goes for the check. We're going to take here. Yeah. In the end, I was looking at this position. I didn't like bishop e3, trying to hit my king. So we're just going to chop. Let's play d. This still looks like a disaster for him, though. His whole position is coming undone. I want to play b4 as soon as possible. It's just technically this rook is hanging for the moment. So I was thinking about playing bishop b7, but ultimately, if I play d5, I want my bishop to be ready to come to this diagonal. Just a disastrous position, man. His king still has nowhere to hide. I guess if he plays rook g1, I can even just take on h4. This is a disaster. He could try bishop g5. Bishop g5, what could I do? I could even play f6 there. Yeah, f6 technically weakens g6, but that's not relevant. Long term, my king could even burrow in on f7 with a fine game. This is delicious. This is scrumptious. Oh, sorry, I was thinking about the steak. Yeah, I'm starving. I have not eaten since last night. Okay, I'm just gonna take this pawn. Taking the pawn, defending the knight. He plays bishop g5, but I have, what do we have here? We could definitely play queen h3. Bro still has nothing. Is he gonna castle queenside? Is that his grand plan? We're just gonna play b4 there. All right, yeah, you do not have to ask me twice. I guess his whole idea is he's gonna play rook h1 in this position to try to scrounge something. My king is insanely safe, though. Look at this. Rook h1, queen e6, rook takes h5. That doesn't even do anything. I could just leave it there. I could also just take and be winning as well. But I think, yeah, if he takes there, I would just take here and continue my attack on this side of the board. The only way for him to possibly deliver checkmate now, he needs to get rid of this knight and then also figure out a way to get his queen to this diagonal. I don't think it's going to happen. All right, yeah, let's just take this pawn here. Just taking the pawn. If he takes back, I could even take this way. Look at that. Takes. He plays knight b2. Still got the broken mouse. He plays knight b2. I play rook b8. That looks like a disaster. He could try c3. I play queen a1. I do like rook takes e4, honestly. I like the idea of winning with a flourish. But dude, is there any point in playing rook takes e4, though? It forks, so it's actually very forcing. He would have to take, then I would take. He plays king d2. I take here. Honestly, that position is still a little tricky. I shouldn't be giving away a rook for no reason if I can just do the same thing with a pawn. So I'm going to take with the pawn. Yeah, this position is just a disaster. And he's still nowhere close to attacking my king. My king is still extremely safe. I hope his g4 funny business was worth it, because I'm definitely laughing. All right, rook e1. I mean, all he can do is just sit and hope that somehow or another I blunder or something, because yeah, his position is just hopeless. Let's play bishop f5 here. Just start drilling down here. I do need to watch it. My queen could get trapped here, technically. If rook h1, yeah, that was probably a mistake what I just played. There was no need for that. Okay, knight b6. Yeah, there was definitely no need for me to play what I just played, but yeah, this should be completely winning though. My king is just so unbelievably secure. Like, he can only target the dark squares, but there's no way to get his queen to the dark squares. It needs to be a queen that comes to the dark squares. It can't be the bishop. Knight c4. All right, how do I just get my queen out, man? If I could get my queen out, everything is good. Let's play... I'm gonna play f6. Yeah, I like f6 a lot because f6 gets his bishop out of the way, but more importantly, now my king is going to be able to escape. He's not going to have any type of checkmate once he breaks through here. Dude, he is in so much trouble. I guess he could play rook h1. Dude, rook h1 I could take there. All right, so actually I do need to be careful. Look at this. Takes, king f7, and then knight d6 is mate still. We got to be a little careful. There's still, this dragon still has a little fire in him. We got to be careful. I have rook e7 to shift the rook over. I have rook e7 to shift the rook over. I also have rook e6 just to defend the rook. There are a lot of moves here. Yeah. I'm thinking rook e7 makes most sense because look at this. Rook e7, he plays rook h1. I could even just ignore him and play rook b7. I guess rook e7, though, we need to watch out for knight d6. Yeah, okay. Actually, I'll play rook e6 just to keep an eye on d6. Keep an eye on d6. No knight d6 funny business. We're going to take on d3 soon enough with a fantastic position. He plays rook h1. That's actually really cool. Look at that. Rook h1 I take, he takes. I play takes, and then I take here, and I think the threat of rook b1 is decisive. I don't see how he would deal with that. That's such an ugly position for him. Look at that. Rook h1 takes, e takes d3. Where does his queen even go in that position? If he plays queen f3, I even have bishop e4. Just a disaster. All right, I guess he's sacking some material back. Yeah, my queen can't break through here any longer. Yeah, okay, if I take on e4, queen d3, I like rook takes c4. No, this is just over. What am I talking about? Queen d3, I have rook takes e1. He's going to have to sacrifice here. Yeah, he's going to have to sacrifice for any hope. Just for a sliver of hope, he's going to have to sacrifice. No, but I'm winning. What is he doing? I'm just taking the queen. Got the broken mouse, but that's not going to stop me from taking the queen. It's time to go. Dude, sometimes your stomach is a grumbling, and you just got to make moves. Look at this graph, man. This is a beautiful graph. Only 82%? Are you kidding me, chess.com? This is a graph for the ages. All right, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. We got all this. Yeah, this is a classic position. He should just castle here or play knight d5. This is just a very well-known opening position. Just something like castles, d6, knight d5. Very, very classic theory here. He could also play a4, and then I think the theory goes you could play something like knight d7, knight b6. You could also play knight a5 and c5. Lots of fine moves here. Yeah, again, I haven't yet chosen to disclose what I recommend here, but I'm not worried about the d3 Italian any longer. I found a very frisky solution to the d3 Italian. Bro played g4. This is a big mistake, man. I could just take here even. That's crazy. I didn't realize that. I didn't want to open the g file, though. Bro, I did not want to ruffle the dragon's feathers. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, I guess technically this is okay, but dude, this is very risky. Like, if you are going to do something like this, you need to be careful and you need to make sure that you've triple checked the variations. Rook g1. Oh, I have d6. I didn't realize that. I thought I was going to have to move my knight back and he was just going to immediately start getting frisky with bishop h6. Okay, yeah, so d6 covering the knight. If he plays h3, I have knight f6, bishop h6, and what's the difference here? Knight e8? Why is this so different? What is the difference here? If in this position, if I didn't get d6 in? What? Oh, this is wild. Look at this. Knight g5 is... I'm so confused here. Why is this so bad? Like, of course it's better if we had d6 in this position, but I don't understand why it makes such a huge difference. Okay, takes, queen d2. Look at that. He's breaking through here. Let's try it in the other position. Let's see what the difference is. If we get this position, can he do this? Takes, queen d2. King h8, queen h6, rook g8. Yeah, I guess it's all just due to a tempo. If he takes here... Yeah, I can't really tell the big difference here. It doesn't seem that d6 makes that much of a difference. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I can't tell the difference. I mean, obviously black is a bit more developed than in the other position, but it doesn't seem like that big a difference. Like here, black can play knight f5. Yeah, this doesn't seem to make that much of a difference. Like takes, Rook takes, knight takes. I'm still not really understanding why having the bishop scoping this is that big a deal. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I could have taken that pawn. I didn't want to, though. I like knight a5. Yeah, I really like this move. I'm just trying to open the board up. He's played this, which means his king is not going to be able to castle kingside. And it means he's going to have to try to castle queenside, but that's going to take him a very long time. He's going to have to get the bishop and queen out of the way. Bro made another mistake. Bro pushed g5. He should have just played bishop b3, takes, and kept the position more compact. I don't think I would have even taken on g4 just yet. I probably would have played just d6, g5, knight h5, and I would have been happy with this position. Computer saying 98 is a little better. I don't understand the difference. Normally in these positions, when they're starting to pawn storm you, it's good to groove your knight into the squares in front of their pawns. So then their pawn advance just takes very long, and it's almost impossible for them to accomplish. Yeah, 98. I mean, what is the difference here? For whatever reason, I guess the issue with knight h5. Oh, sorry. Now I understand the issue with knight h5. In itself, this would be a great score for our knight. We would play g6, but the problem is that they can take here, and they're hitting this. And even here, we would have tremendous compensation because we got the bishops. He's weakened a ton of squares with this push, but he has won a pawn ultimately, which is the problem with knight h5. Bro plays g5. I play knight h5. Apparently, oh, wow, I completely missed that. That is a beautiful move. Look at that. If he takes here, I just get the bishop for free. And if he takes this way, we get our favorite fork. Yeah, black would be doing fantastic here. Because black's immediately getting his material back. I don't even know what they would do. Something like bishop b3, but takes, bishop g4. This is a disaster. This is a complete disaster. Here, this is winning for black. If they play king e2, we play f5. We're forcing the f-file open. He's going to lose this knight one way or another. This pin is fatal. It's the fatal pin. Yeah, so what is he supposed to do here? I guess he has to take. This looks terrible, though. Computer's saying it's -1. I think this is like a hopeless position already, though. I'm going to play bishop f5, bring the rook to d8. I'm going to try to break through. He is so slow to get his king over to the queen side, so I don't know what he's going to do with his king long term. Yeah, this position looks hopeless. I don't care what the computer says. Taking an executive decision here. I'm going to call that position winning. All right, so knight h5. He takes. I play g6. Apparently this is best. I thought I should have thrown in this first, because then at least here, he doesn't have the sacrifice on f7. Yeah. Apparently he should take this way. Look at that. Takes g6, and then what? And then h4? What am I missing here? Why do I not have compensation here? Well, I mean, okay, for one thing, these pawns execute a really good clamp on this square, and so we can't play c6, d5 to break on the light squares as quickly. It doesn't seem that bad. Yeah. Well, okay, I guess the other thing as well is that d6, knight g4, he's going to play bishop e3, queen d2, and castle queenside. It's very hard for me to challenge his pawns at all. Yeah, no, I understand it now. I understand it completely. Yeah, in this type of position, I can't play c6, b5 any longer. This pawn does a great job of buffering the queenside against any pawn storm. So because of this, I'm not going to have any play against this queenside. In the long term, he should be able to get his king out to the queenside. I don't think it's showing it. It's not showing it in any of these variations, but that's just because the computer wants black to throw the kitchen sink at white before white has time to castle. All right, so yeah, in this position, he played h4, which is good. I had assumed, so h4 I took. Apparently this is another mistake. This is pretty wild. Yeah, this is very, very strange, honestly. I had assumed that in this position he should just take here, and he should be close to winning here. It's very hard to handle, though, but pretty much he has two pawns. They're going to start coming up the board slowly. He's going to play bishop e3, queen d2, and castle queenside. Yeah, it's just going to be too slow for me to organize counterplay. Computer's also pointing out that he can even castle kingside in these positions. Yeah, my knight is just completely misplaced here. And I have no way to effectively challenge his pawns. I want to challenge his pawns to get my pieces more outposts. So I would love to play c6 and d5. But just due to specifics, there's no way for me to do it effectively. If I play c6 and d5, I'm going to be locking this knight out. He's going to have ideas like a3 and b4. And I'm going to lose this knight here. So yeah, just due to mechanical circumstances, it's very hard for me to challenge his pawns at all. Like just to show you what I mean, we would love to get a position like this. Like we would love for him to play e5, compromise all his light squares. Now I can drill a bishop in here. In long term, I'm gonna move this knight over this way, something like this. Computer saying bishop f5 is inaccurate, but you'll get the message. So bro played h4. I took. Apparently that's another mistake. I should play d6 first. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. d6, knight f3. We could even play c6 here. c6 is pretty wild, man. The whole idea is that we want to play d5 sooner or later to open up more squares. Yeah, I mean, I would just play this, but yeah. No, okay, this is really interesting. This is unbelievably difficult for me to understand, honestly. Like, I'm frequently in this type of position getting the wrong, just having the completely wrong intuition as to how the position should be played. Pretty much what we want to do is we want to break with c6, d5, but we want to do it in a way that forces this e-pawn to capture. That's why we don't want to do it this way, because c6, d5, he could just take with the c-pawn here. This wouldn't be a problem. All right, so I took on c4. Apparently that's slightly inaccurate. I was supposed to play d6, and then he takes here. I feel like I did something normal, though. I think that this, on a practical level, this is a completely reasonable decision. He took with this knight, which is a mistake. He should take this way. Just get the clamp on our light squares. Very, very interesting position here. So yeah, he took that way, and now I'm able to play c6 and just start breaking with d5. I am shocked that it's 0.8 here. I would have assumed that black is better. I definitely would have assumed that black is better because his position is, white's position is just imploding. Knight e3, I played b5. Apparently that's also a mistake. Dude, I'm starving, man. I'm so hungry. I'm going to devour this steak. The steak guy is going to save my life, man. Leave a W in the chat for the steak guy. Okay, so I played b5 here. Yeah, I should play f6 to break on the f file. Very weird. Not intuitive at all. I feel like b5 is natural. b5, what's the problem with this? He plays queen f3 and what? Queen f3 and queen g2? Okay, no human is going to play this way. Apparently queen f3, if I play b4, he just plays knight e2. I was going to play d5 here and takes. Oh, okay, well that actually does make sense. I can't do this here because his queen can take. Well, what if I just build it up? What if I play something like bishop b7? Then he plays knight g4, and he's going to install the knight on h6. Yeah, this is getting very tricky. Yeah, we want to avoid a position where he gets his knight to h6, because now in this type of position, if he gets his bishop here, this is going to be really uncomfortable. He's going to have plenty of attacking chances here. Computer's pointing out that knight f4 is even better, though. Knight f4 trades the knight off, and then he's going to play h5 at some point. All right, so I played b5. I thought b5 was very natural, though. But yeah, apparently f6 was the best way to stop his queen from doing that ridiculous maneuver. Man, what a maneuver. This. Wait, yeah, let's look at that position a second, actually. I also want to look at this. So in this position, his queen is heading around. But more than that, yeah, so if we play f6, his queen just goes around. I would assume he could also castle at some point, because at that point he does have so many pieces around his king. It should be okay. No, apparently not. Now he's castling queenside. So yeah, like long story short, I don't understand anything about this position. I'm just frequently getting everything wrong about this. So a3, I played a5. Apparently I just need to break on f6. Takes, we'll take with the bishop. We got pressure here. I also have a knight coming to f4. I have the open f file to start looking at f2. I could also think about taking on h4 at some point. Yeah, this is very dangerous. Like if he plays bishop d2, we play d5, crunch open the position, then take on h4. This looks fantastic. Yeah, that looks good. So after f6, he pretty much, he has to ignore it, and he has to do something like rook g1 or knight f5. Knight f5 is a great move. Look at that, knight f5. I can't take here because he takes. Instead, I should just swan dive into the cabbage patch with d5. He takes, we take, we're attacking this. His position seems to be imploding on all sides, but at the same time, our king is also a bit weak. We have a lot of weak dark squares around our king long term, so if he can just manage to get his king out alive, he should have fine chances. Computer's pointing out he should play bishop e3, queen e2, and castle. I don't care what the computer says. The computer just a second ago was saying bishop e3 is the best move. So I played a5. I doubled down on my b4 idea. Bro plays queen e2. I play rook e8. I should have played d5 here. Yeah, rook e8 is just a little too slow. D5 makes a lot more sense. Just introduces a lot more tension to the position. We want to get this in as soon as we possibly can. And in this position, we're threatening d4, so he has to take, which is very difficult to do. Takes, his e-file is getting opened, his king is going to be stuck in the center for a while, so this is not something anyone wants to make. Yeah, like in this position, he's winning another pawn, but a lot of diagonals are opening up here. Already, we could play bishop b7 to double down here. If he takes, come on, this bishop looks great. Apparently, if he plays this perfectly, he's still a little better. Like he could now castle here because our bishop is farther away, and I guess his idea is that after takes, he's going to play d4 or something. Okay, yeah, d4 is one idea, but knight g4 is another, and if d4, then knight e4. No, sorry, d4, he plays rook e1 first to get a tempo on our bishop, and yeah, if we play rook e8, then he plays knight e4. All of these solutions that the computer is pointing out white has are very hard for a human to find because they look so insanely risky. Like this position, if I were to look at this position ahead of time, like let's flip the board around. Yeah, if I saw this position in my head, I would literally assume that black is winning because he has d4 coming, this bishop is shooting through here, queen also can come in, knight can also come in. You have no g or h pawns on the starting square, so this just looks completely lost here. If I ended up getting this position in a game, like if I had no choice but to accept this position, then upon calculating it a while, I would probably realize that white is doing fine and maybe even has an advantage, but it would take me a really long time. It would not be intuitive at all for me to grasp that. All right, so I played rook e8, bro played knight f5, bishop f8. Apparently I'm supposed to take here. He takes this way, and then we take, and then we implode the center. Yeah, this is interesting. I think I mentioned it during the game that even if he gets this, he's actually very far away from getting an attack because he doesn't have any pieces in the attack here, and he's nowhere close to getting this break in effectively. He's going to have to prepare this break with, I don't know, something like rook g1, knight e2, knight f4. It's going to take him a while, and in the meantime, we're just exploding the center. Computer's saying that this is like negative 0.26. I think black is very close to winning on a practical level. It is so hard for white to play this position. Like if he plays bishop e3, I would assume... Well, I guess we can't play d4 because of rook d1. But yeah, bishop e3, b4 takes, something like takes. This looks like a disaster. This looks like a complete disaster. It's so hard for him to play. And yeah, like if he castles here, takes, rook takes e4. Somehow or another, he's not losing yet. But dude, just look at this king. He doesn't have h or g pawns next to him. Light squares are extremely vulnerable. He doesn't have a light scored bishop, meaning if we could ever get our light scored bishop in here, it's going to be the end of the game. This is such a hard position for white to play. Computer's pointing out that he could play bishop d4 and just ignore our aggressive ideas to go for an attack himself with queen h6. Yeah, apparently we play queen d6 here, and the game is just a mess. The game is a complete mess. I don't know what's happening here. I would assume that black is winning here, but computer is saying that white is actually doing okay, and he's only slightly worse. Anyway, I played bishop f8, bro played knight h6, I traded, played d5, undermining the center. Bro was getting into a lot of trouble here. Plays rook g1, this is inaccurate. Yeah, this is so funny. I would assume, like, computer saying that white is better here. I would bet if you gave grandmasters the choice and you only gave them a few minutes to decide, I would assume like 95% would want to be black here because black's position is so much safer. Our king is so safe here. But yeah, apparently if he plays rook g1, what is up with this computer? Computer says that rook g1 is the best move, and then it says that this is inaccurate. I don't know. Anyway, I took on h4, grabbing a pawn, but also more importantly, just stabilizing this knight on h5 and getting our queen closer to this. Bishop g5, I played queen h3. Apparently queen h2 is best. Attacking the rook here. Yeah, this looks good. If castles, we play b4. What is the difference here? Oh, I see the clear difference is now if he plays rook h1 in any line, my queen can come back to much more relevant squares. Another nice thing is that our queen can just come back to d6 in this position. Yeah, when my queen was on h3, if I could play queen d6 in one move, this would have been a fantastic thing. I definitely would have chosen this. I didn't grasp how much more important it was for the queen to be on this diagonal in conjunction with this b4 idea. So I played queen h3, castles b4. Apparently b4 is inaccurate. I should play d4 here, knight b1. This is so weird, man. Dude, this game is so bizarre. I completely understand why the computer gave me like a 70% accuracy or whatever. I'm making a lot of mistakes. Apparently I'm supposed to play d4, knight b1, and c5 and just start a slow pawn storm. After b4, he plays knight a4. Well, wait, now how does that work? Look at this. The computer evaluations are 0.3, 0.5. The computer evaluations here are 0.3, 0.4. That doesn't seem like it's that big a mistake. Chess.com has to stop being so, what is it? What is the word? So finicky. Bro's to make up his mind. So takes, bro takes. He should have kept things close. He should have played b3. Even here, though, this position just looks like a mess. I don't think that this is that clear for either player. I definitely wouldn't assume that white is 0.5 better. I would just put this position, I would just put a giant guy's head exploding. What is that emoji with the guy's head exploding? And I would just put that in the analysis. I would leave that as the evaluation in this position. We're far away now. Black is far away from actually opening up files on the queen side because this pawn just shields everything. And look at that. His knight is doing the same exact thing as my knight is doing. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, they're both keeping the files shut. Yeah, it's going to be very hard for me to attack on the queen side now. I should try to get in c5, c4 at some point. The computer's saying I shouldn't do it, which is a sign probably to me that we just can't achieve it. Like c5, they have something to do here. Like, yeah, they could just take, for instance. If we are able to get c4 in, though, this should be a win. Like, let's say that they play something like f3, c4. Even this is better for them? You got to be kidding me. Oh, I guess they could take with the queen here. Yeah, I thought that we were forcing, by playing c4, we were forcing this b pawn off the board. That was my idea. All right. So I took, bro takes. Yeah, bro should play b3. Computer's saying that this is better for white. I think it's a mess. Both kings are a bit weak, but both sides are a little far away from getting an attack going. Yeah. Okay, so I took here. I really wanted to take with the rook. It's good I didn't though, but yeah, I was looking at this type of position here, like takes, knight b2, rook b8. Dude, apparently he can just stay calm with ice cold blood in his veins and just play something like queen e3, takes, and run his king this way. We have no attack to speak of. If check, then just queen c3. And I can't take here now because he's going to play rook e1, and all of a sudden I'm getting mated. Yeah, this is completely losing. All right, I'm happy I stayed reserved and I stayed calm and I just took the proper way. I am deeply unhappy with the fact that I thought that my position was completely winning here. I literally thought that the game was already over and I was just completely winning. I didn't think that he could do anything here. Because it just looks like his king side is imploding. Meanwhile, my king looks super secure. But I guess just due to the fact that he has so many pieces in the game and due to the fact that his pieces are so active, just for whatever reason, I have no way to actually organize a successful attack, which is pretty shocking. So bro played rook e1, I played bishop f5. Apparently this is inaccurate. I thought that it was inaccurate. He could play rook h1 here. I should have kept my queen more flexible. I should have played something like bishop d7. That's what the computer likes. f6 also makes sense. f6, bishop d2, and rook e5. Look at that. Rook is defended, so now we can think about taking on d3. Yeah. This is really, really hard to understand, though. Like, I would never have assumed that white could be better here. I think it's just a sum of a lot of different things. Another thing as well is that white will be better in the endgame because my knight ultimately could just be misplaced here in the endgame. His pawn is also very strong in the endgame. If he ever gets rooks to the 7th rank, he'd be winning in the endgame. Yeah, I would never have assumed that this is better for white, though. I would have assumed that black is the one with the initiative, and black should have very good chances of a win here. But yeah, also just due to the mechanics of the position, I just don't have a lot of normal attacking ideas. Like, I'd love to play queen e6 to play queen a2. I didn't even realize that he could take here. Yeah, in this position, he could take here, and he'd be threatening rook takes g6 because we pushed f6. Let's look at it in a slightly different way. Like, let's say we play queen e6 here. Queen e6, if I can get my queen to a2, we'd be in business, but he just takes here. He's skewering these. I can't play queen a2 because he's going to checkmate me. Yeah, so this would not be fun. Okay, so I made a mistake. I played bishop f5. He should have played rook h1, and he'll definitely have some type of advantage here. I was just going to try to wing something. You know, my opponent's down to just 3 minutes here. I'm just going to try to make something happen. Just try to come up with something on the fly. I don't know. Normally, I tend to figure something out. Bro played knight b6, big mistake. I played rook b8, knight c4, f6. This is inaccurate. I should just play rook e6 immediately. This makes more sense, actually. I have better control of g6, and yeah, I'm just not weakening as many squares. Ultimately, this f6 move didn't do anything. I thought that I was going to be able to take here in this position, and I didn't realize until like here that, yeah, in this position, I'm actually just getting mated. This is not going to be fun. It's going to be time to go. So yeah, f6, bishop d2. I played rook e6 here. I was thinking about playing rook e7 to get my rook over to b7, because if he plays rook h1, then I can play rook b7, and all of a sudden I'm in the driver's seat. It's definitely time to go. But yeah, he just plays knight d6. He's digging into the bishop, and he's also covering this. I have no way to quickly get my attack going here. All right, so I played rook e6, dude took. This is a big mistake. Finally, he makes some big mistake here. Up until now, he'd been finding a lot of very good moves. Yeah, he has to try rook h1. I was thinking I could at the very least take here, though, because if he takes, then we take, and this has to be good. But yeah, actually here he could just take, I take, he takes, I take, he takes. Is that the best move? Apparently he could take here. That makes more sense, actually. He should take this. This could be a very good pass pawn in the long term. And also he's getting b4 for his bishop, which would be a very useful square, hitting this useful diagonal. Yeah, only white could be better here. Material is equal, but this pawn is actually going to be very strong. It's really hard for me to target this pawn. His rook is going to get into the 7th rank. He has a very strong, potent outside past a pawn in the long term, and yeah, he just has a lot of small advantages that sum to an edge. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised that it's only 0.4. I would have assumed it's like 0.7, 0.8 here, because this is definitely a lot better for white. White has a lot of tiny little advantages. Our knight is also really misplaced here. Anyway, bro slipped on a banana peel. Bro took on e4. I took back, hitting the knight, hitting the queen. Plays queen d3. I mean, he's already in a lot of trouble, though, here. I guess he should have taken. This is a pretty hopeless position, though. My queen is going to run laps around the rook and bishop. I'll play something like f5, rook d4, get my knight back into the action. Yeah, all we need to do is destabilize his position a little bit more, and the game should just be over. To that effect, one thing that could be very good would just be to trade off their bishop. And what I mean by that is just playing knight d5, knight c3, getting their bishop off the board. So just to show you something like this, like rook e1, computer is saying c5 is even better here. Yeah, c5, rook d6, knight e4, rook d7. Let's just take their bishop. And yeah, we could take their bishop, or we could even play knight c3. That would also make a lot of sense, just attacking this. Computer's finding some wild resources. White can play knight b6 to keep the game going. But my point is, though, I don't want to get distracted from the point. My point is, if we can just trade off this bishop, there are way too many weak dark squares now. Also, the fact that our queen has access to the square means we can pressure these two. White is completely losing here. It's going to be time to go. It's definitely going to be time to go. That was the only resource I thought he had, but even so, that position would just be dead lost. Our queen would eventually run circles around white's rook and bishop. What if he plays bishop e3? If bishop e3, look at that, knight f4. Now all of a sudden, all of our pieces get into the game. See, this is what I was talking about. In this position, his king is so weak here. You know, he'd been managing to walk a fine line and keep his position held together here. Up until this point, he'd been able to hold his position together, and it's like dead equal. But there are so many like potentially huge problems with his position that as soon as he makes one mistake already, it dips from 0 to, computer saying minus 1.3 up here, but now it's saying -3. It's already lost for him. It's completely hopeless. If he plays bishop e3, we play knight f4. Just everything is coming into the party. Yeah, if he takes here, then this is just over. It takes something like queen c3. This has to be the end of the game. Just hitting everything. Computer's pointing out actually queen f3 is even better. Just forking. Knight f4, if queen... Yeah, dude, he can't do anything here. Queen d2 drops the knight. What is he going to do here? I guess... No, queen f1 also doesn't work. I just trade and play rook takes c4. That's wild. This is forced mate in 7. Even though queens have come off the board, I just have way too many threats here. All right. Yeah, so dude is just completely lost here. He played queen d3, but I just take here. I'm picking up the queen. It's the end of the game. It's time to go. First takeaway from this game, if your opponent plays g4, do not laugh at it. It is not a bozo move that much. It's actually a very serious idea. Computer says that it's inaccurate, but it's a very serious, critical idea, and you need to take it seriously. It's definitely not a joke. I've seen a lot of people lose games in these positions because they don't take it seriously. They play something like h6, and then g5 happens, and then they get into enormous trouble here already. Like something like takes, knight takes, rook g1, queen h5. I guess in this exact position, there's some like concrete issues with this, but y'all get the point. Normally, you can get steamrolled if you do not take g4 seriously. The other takeaways back in this position, I think it would have been good for him just to trade everything here because he has a rook and 2 pawns. for 2 minor pieces, and most importantly, though, his pawns are staying compact. His pawns are not forced to budge in any way and give our pieces any squares. And in such a situation, his rook and 2 pawns are going to be able to steamroll us gradually. He's going to castle and eventually push f5 and push f6, and it's just keep pushing our pieces back in a way that doesn't cede too many squares.
Time to go!